Good morning dear students. Welcome to online video classes of History and Civics and the next part of the chapter 4, the Mauryan Empire. Now let's start. So dear students, today we will cover these points in our video class. Archaeological resources of information about Mauryan Empire. First is Addicts of Ashoka, then Asajji Stupa. Then we will study about Mauryan rulers and we will start with Chandragupta Maurya, then his son Bindusara and Ashoka. So let's start with Addicts of Ashoka. Addicts of Ashoka. When we will study about Addicts of Ashoka, we should know what is edicts. When you will read your book, you will find an edict is a decree issued by a sovereign. Means an edict is a, you can say, law or rule issued by a sovereign, means a ruler. Edicts of Ashoka form the most important source of Mauryan history. The Addicts of Ashoka are a collection of more than 30 inscriptions on the pillar as well as boulders and cave walls attributed to Emperor Ashoka of the Mauryan Empire, who reigned from 268 BCE to 232 BCE. Ashoka used expression Dhamma, Lipi, and the Brahmi Lipi or Brahmi script, inscription of the description, to own his edicts. These inscriptions were dispersed throughout the areas of modern day Bangladesh, India, Nepal, Afghanistan and Pakistan. And whenever we will study it, we will get also the Dhamma, an earnest attempt to solve some of the problems that a complex society faced. According to the edicts, the extent of the Buddhist proselytism during the period reached as far as Mediterranean, and many Buddhist monuments were created. These inscriptions proclaim Ashoka's adherence to the Buddhist philosophy, which as in Hinduism is called as Dharma. The inscription shows his efforts to develop Buddhist Dharma throughout his kingdom. Although Buddhism as well as Gautam Buddha are mentioned, the edicts are focused on social and moral precepts. Rather than a specific religious practices or the philosophical dimension of Buddhism, these were located in public places and were meant for people to read. In these inscriptions, Ashoka refers to himself the beloved of the gods, Devanam Priya. The identification of Devanam Priya or Devanam Priya with Ashoka was confirmed by an inscription discovered in 1950 by C. Bedon, a British gold mining engineer at Maski, a village in Raichur district of Karnataka. Another minor rock edict found at the village of Gujjara in Datia district of Madhya Pradesh also used the name of Ashoka together with his titles Devanam Priya, Piyadasi, Ashoka Raja. The inscription found in the central and eastern part of India were written in Magadhi Prakrit using the Brahmi script, while Prakrit using the Kshotri script, Greek and Aramaic were used in the northwest. So whenever we are going to read these edicts, we will find that inscription revolve around a few recurring themes: Ashoka's conversion to Buddhism, description of his efforts to the spread in Buddhism, his moral and religious perspective, his social and animal welfares. So these all were based on Ashoka's ideas on administration and behavior of the people towards one and another religion. Sanchi Stupa. Sanchi Stupa is a Buddhist complex famous for its great stupa on hilltop at Sanchi town in Raisen district of the state of Madhya Pradesh, India. It is located in 46 kilometers northeast of Bhopal and capital of Madhya Pradesh. The Great Stupa at Sanchi is one of the oldest stone structures in India and an important monument of Indian architecture. It was originally commenced by the Emperor Ashoka in 3rd century BCE. Its nucleus was a simple hemispherical brick structure built over the relics of the Buddha. It was crowned by the chhatri and parasol-like structure symbolizing high rank, which was intended to honor and shelter the relics. The original construction work of this stupa was overseen by Ashoka, whose wife Devi was the daughter of a merchant nearby Vidisha. Sanchi was also her birthplace as well as the venue of her and Ashoka's wedding. In the 1st century BCE, 4 elaborately carved toranas or toranas and a balustrade encircling the entire structure were added. The Sanchi Stupa, built during the modern period, was made up of bricks and composite flourished until the 11th century. Sanchi is the center of region with a number of stupas, all with a few miles of Sanchi, including Satdhara and 40 stupas. Enriched in the new Vihara, Bhojpur, called Moral Khurd, a fortified hilltop with 60 stupas. Andher, as well as Sonari, and further south, about the 100 km away in Sarumaru. Bahrut is 300 km into the northwest. So, whenever we were studying about this, we forgot to discuss about a stupa. So, what is a stupa? You should know that a stupa is a mound-like hemispherical structure containing relics of Buddha, and that is used as a place of meditation, a related architectural term in Chatya, which is prayer hall or temple containing a stupa. So in common language we can say a mound-like hemispherical structure containing relics of Buddha that is used as a place of meditation by Buddhist monks and nuns is called as stupa. Understood? Now we will study about the modern rulers. Who was the founder of Mauryan Empire? You know very well. We have discussed in the first video also. Chandragupta Maurya. Now Chandragupta Maurya was the founder of the Mauryan Empire in the ancient India. He was taught and counseled by the philosopher Chanakya, who had a great influence in the formation of his empire. Together, Chandragupta and Chanakya built one of the largest empires of the Indian subcontinent. According to Jain sources, he later renounced his empire and became a Jain monk. Chandragupta's life and accomplishment and are described in ancient Greek, Hindu, Buddhist and Jain texts, but they are very significantly in ancient Greek and Latin accounts. Chandragupta is referred as the Sandrokotos or Androcatus. Chandragupta was a pivotal figure in the history of India. Prior to his consolidation of power, Alexander the Great had invaded the northwest Indian subcontinent before abandoning his campaign in 324 BCE and left a legacy of several Indo-Greek kingdoms in the northwest ancient India. Chandragupta created a new empire, applied the principles of statecraft, built a large army and continued expanding the boundaries of his empire. Greek rulers avoided war with him. One of them, Seleucus, first Nicator, entered into the marriage alliance in a state and retreated into Persia. Chandragupta's empire extended from Bengal and most of the Indian subcontinent except for the religious regions that are now Tamil Nadu and Kerala and Odisha. Seleucus Nicator had married his daughter with Chandragupta Maurya, whose name was Helena. Now we will study about Bindusara. Bindusara was the son of Chandragupta Maurya. Bindusara, also known Amrit Ghata, in Sanskrit, slayer of enemies. Amrit Chotchets, Greek, means Oticopans, was the second Mauryan emperor of India. He was the son of the dynasty's founder and the father of its famous ruler Ashoka. Bindusara's life is not documented as well as the life of two emperors. Much of the information about him comes from the legendary accounts written in several hundred years after his death. Bindusara, Amitra Ghata, consolidated the empire created by his father. The 16th century Tibetan Buddhist author Traratnata credits his administration with extensive territorial consequences in the southern India, but some of historians doubted the historical authenticity of his claim. Now we will study about the great Mauryan Empire, the Ashoka. Ashoka was also known as the Ashoka the Great, was an Indian emperor of the Mauryan dynasty who ruled almost all the Indian subcontinent from 268 to 232 BC. The grandson of the founder of Mauryan dynasty, Chandragupta Maurya, Ashoka prompted to the spread of Buddhism across ancient India. Considered by many to be one of the greatest Indian emperors, Ashoka expanded Chandragupta's empire to reign over a realm stretching from present-day Afghanistan and into the west to Bangladesh in the east. And it has covered the entire Indian subcontinent except for parts of present-day Tamil Nadu, Karnataka and Kerala. The empire's capital was Patliputra, with provincial capitals at Takshila and Ujjain. Ashoka waged a destructive war against the state of Kalinga, which he conquered in about 260 BC. He converted Buddhism after witnessing the mass death of Kalinga war, which he had waged out of desire for conquest and which reportedly directly resulted in more than 100,000 deaths and 150,000 deportations. He is remembered for the Ashoka's pillars and edicts, for sending Buddhist monks to Sri Lanka and Central Asia, for establishing monuments marking several significant sites in the life of Gautam Buddha. Beyond Addicts of Ashoka, biographical information about him relies on the legends written in centuries later, such as 2nd century Ashoka Vandana, narrative of Ashoka, a part of Divya Vandana, and in the Sri Lankan text Mahavamsa, Great Chronicle. So this is all about the modern rulers. So dear students, today we have already covered these topics: Addicts of Ashoka, Sanchi's Stupa, about modern rulers, Chandragupta Maurya, Bindusara and Ashoka. In our next video class, we will discuss in brief about Kalinga War, consequences of Kalinga War, administrations of Mauryan rulers and Ashoka's Dhamma. Till then, have a nice day and thank you.